Well, Temporis 7 has officially been revealed, and if you're an Osa fan or a Pokemon fan, then this one is right up your alley. In this video, I'm going to break down a lot of the Osatopia details and what you can expect, as well as explain why I think this Temporis is going to be the most Dofus beginner-friendly Temporis yet. And if that wasn't a good enough reason to stick around and watch this video, I'm also going to throw in a giveaway opportunity and give you the details of how to participate in that. If all that sounds great to you, if you could do me a huge favor and just smack that like button, I'd appreciate it. All right, let's do this. All right, there is a lot to cover in this video, and I promise I'm going to do my best not to do a bunch of rambling. Well, unless you've been hiding under a rock somewhere, I'm sure you've already found out that this Temporis you are going to be running around collecting a possible 151 different creatures throughout the world of 12. Another thing that makes this Temporis so unique is the fact that your character, no matter which class you select, is going to be playing a support role. You literally have zero attacking ability with your character. And I know IOPs everywhere are now pulling out their hair at the mere thought of this aspect. Every class will start with one passive spell and then a variety of active spells. The passive spell basically just means it is a spell that is going to take place and you don't have to do anything about it. For example, on the slide that I'm showing you now, the Osa class Spiritual Leash will trigger automatically, so you don't have to do anything to make that happen. Now, the active spells that you do have are going to be all support related. They are all going to be things that you do to support your monsters. Yes, they're called monsters, not monsters. Now, you can find out exactly what spells, passive and active, every class has before you even start Temporis. To do that, you're going to come here to the Dofus website and you're going to pre-register, or you could just look. You don't have to pre-register, but you're just going to come here, click the pre-registration button. Once this page loads up, you're going to hit this pre-registration button here at the bottom, and I'm already pre-registered, which is why it's showing me my class that I've selected, my name, server. I'll point out right now, server SAB, S-A-B, is a server that a lot of us English content creators and streamers have selected to be on. It doesn't mean they're all going to be here, but this is the one that a lot of us have tried to get onto. So if you're hoping to hook up with some people, you might want to try for this one. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this modify button, and it's going to give me the opportunity to change what class I select. When you select the drop down menu here, you'll see all the classes that are available. And when you select the class, it'll then give you the spells that are going to be associated with it. And I'll point out here real fast, these are the servers down here below and the current population. So there's a lot of room left on SAB, at least at the point of recording this, which a couple days may have gone by since then. And you can also see I have 23 friends pre-registered here. That's awesome. Right here, if you see the passive spell is up here in blue and then any active spells are below. If you click it, it will then bring up an animation showing you exactly what's going to take place and details about it. You can even select the level range to see how it progresses as you level your character. Now, I've had a few people reach out to me and ask me if I would make a tier list video kind of covering all of these to suggest which ones I think will do well and which ones won't. But one thing that's really cool about this Temporis is Ankama has said that you will have unlimited number of changes to your class while you're playing the game. It almost sounds like it's going to be a little potion that's on your character, and you can pretty much just probably double click that, change your class whenever you want to. With that in mind, I don't think there's really going to be a use for me to make a tier list, because when you start playing a class, if you don't like it, you can just switch to something else. So trying to get that perfect character right at the beginning isn't really as big of a deal on this Temporis. So my suggestion to you though, when you are looking to pick your class, is pick the class that is most interesting to you. Each of these classes should retain their typical role as regular Dofus. For example, Sacriers still get stronger as they get hurt. Zellers are still really good at messing up people's AP, and IOPs are still all about getting close to the enemy and doing crazy amounts of damage. But all of your spells are going to be about trying to make your monsters act like your character. So I'll use the IOP passive spell here as just an example. If the monster is not next to an enemy, they will gain MP, which allows them to try to get closer to an enemy. Otherwise, they get a shield because it means that they're already next to an enemy and they need to stay safe. It also gets increased close combat damage abilities. Again, it takes on the characteristics of the role of an IOP, and all the monsters that get equipped to that IOP are going to follow in that same attribute. Another example is the Feka, which is all about reducing damage and placing glyphs. Well, the passive with the Feka is it's going to place that glyph, which then gives shields to allies, and it reduces the damage taken by enemies. It It's like you've turned your monster into a tiny fecha. I hope that all kind of makes sense, but basically you're trying to make your monsters act like your character's role because you can't do any attacking no matter which class you pick. All your spells are about trying to make those monsters act like you, if that makes sense. Now, if you're curious what class I'm thinking about starting with, I think I'm going to start with the IOP. I think having a whole bunch of little creatures running around just cranking out massive damage, I think that's going to be a ton of fun, and that's where I'm going to start. I will probably try several of the different classes over the course of the Temporis. You know, some dungeons may work better with one class than another, so maybe you're getting ready to go fight the Burb. Well, if you switch to the Zealor and you now have all your monsters able to try to steal AP, well, you might have just simplified the dungeon mechanic of that dungeon because you're a Zealor class now instead of an IOP. So I think there'll be some flexibility in times when you want to try some other ones. But I'm starting out with an IOP because I'm all about that smashing. Just kill it. Destroy it. Imagine getting a little penguin and you're taking out giant monsters. Oh, that would be so much fun. I'm borderline rambling now, so I will pause with that. I will point out that Don't Play Anymore did put together a tier list video. I will leave a link to that video in the description below. So after this one, if you would like to see a tier list and his thoughts on the different ones, check that out. There's some really good feedback and points that he makes about some of the spells in there. Okay, let's talk about the monsters. The first thing I'll point out, because it was kind of a confusing point in the live stream, is your monsters are more like sidekicks, not summons. So at any moment, if you're confused on if your monster will be able to do it or not, you might just ask yourself, can a sidekick do it? And that will probably answer your question as to if the monster can do it. When you first start your adventure, you are going to have one of 4 monsters that you can pick, one for each of the elements. Now don't worry, the 3 that you don't pick, you will still have a chance to capture them just out in the wild. You're just picking the one you're starting your adventure with. But there is something else to note here. In the bicycle that you can earn on the battle pass, and I know I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here, in the back of that little motorbike bicycle thing, whatever creature that you start with as your first monster will ride with you in the back of that bike. So when you're trying to figure out which of these to start with, you might ask yourself which one's going to look the coolest on the back of your bike. Just thought I'd throw it out there for you. Now, once you start running around, you're going to find mobs, and in those mobs, it will indicate if there is a monster in it. When you first start a fight, you'll see that little blue orb-like thing. That's the monster, and it will transform into an enemy at the start of the fight. Now, I was told that the animation that occurs when it transforms, there is a different one for each rarity. So you have common, rare, epic, and legendary. Now, I don't know what the animations look like. Maybe there's a color associated with the animation. So that'll be nice when you enter into a fight if you know it might be something kind of valuable to go ahead and capture, even if you already have it, just so you can put it in the market and stuff. And again, I'm getting ahead of myself, but we'll get more to that here in a minute. Now, every monster that you do manage to capture will have 3 spells, every one of them. I do say successfully capture because you start with a base rate of a 50-50 chance of capturing that monster. Now, everybody in the group fighting that also has a chance of capturing it. So everybody could capture that monster if luck was really on your guys' side. Now, 50-50 is good odds, but they're not great odds. But the good news is there will be an Almanacs type daily quest that you can do to unlock bonuses towards increasing your odds of capturing monsters. Now, unlike Almanacs, where whether you participate in the quest or not, you get the bonus, these ones you will actually need to do the bonus to get the bonus. But I doubt it's going to be anything super complex or complicated, just a little step that you can do if you want to increase your chances of possibly landing more monsters. There will also be different baits that you can equip that will increase your odds as well. Now, baits are going to be kind of like the soul stone when you go to soul capture something. The baits will be something that you equip on your character to then capture a monster. You have to have a bait equipped. I'm assuming it'll have its own slot on your character somewhere, but I don't have a screenshot of that to know for sure. But you put one of those baits on and it might give you a 10% increased chance or a 20%. I don't know, they didn't quite explain it. Now, if you were wondering if prospecting has any effect on your chances of capturing or not, it does not. It's not related to prospecting in any fashion. And speaking of prospecting, all gear, keys, and trophies will be droppable from mobs when you go fight. And Kama also said there will be an NPC that takes care of selling things like Gilded Gems, Alliance Gems, Soul Stones, and Capture Nets. And they said the Dofuses will be obtained by monsters through the form of something called Tempofus. I'm not exactly sure what that means. It almost sounds like it's a tradable resource. Maybe if somebody else went through that process last year, you can leave a comment below of how that works, because they said it works like the previous versions, but I would imagine there's also some Dofuses that you'll be able to get just by going through the quest. And you probably already noticed on this slide right there in the bottom right corner, they are testing something on this Temporis that they are possibly going to be moving over to the regular Dofus server, and that is removing all bonuses from the idols. You can still use idols for like the dungeon achievements and stuff, but there's no more XP bonus or loot bonus. Now, as you're running around, you might find that you have duplicate monsters that you have managed to capture. So you have a few options of what you can do with those. You can trade them with people. You can sell them in a market. I haven't seen which market that's going to be at. I think in the previous Temporis, it was the consumables market is where you could find the scrolls for the spells. That's probably where these are going to be as well. Or your last option is you can come here to the Monster Center, and there's going to be a couple NPCs that you can interact with. On the left-hand side, you can bring your duplicates up here and pass them off to Nurse Joel in exchange for OSA tokens. OSA tokens. A lot of thought went into that one, I'm sure. But then you can take those OSA tokens and exchange them with Agent John C, and you can get candies, probably some baits. There might even be some cosmetics. For those of you who were at the Ecaflip City one, remember how there were some cosmetic outfits you could get just from the NPCs? I got a feeling he's going to have a bunch of stuff like that, but all about this Osatopia one. Now, you will manage your monsters through two main interfaces. The first one here is going to be the inventory of your character. If you see over here on the right-hand side, this is what I meant by your summons might be in the form of a scroll first. If you double click it, it will then put it in your list of available monsters to select from. That's what these are here. If you drag these up and put this on your deck, you can have 6 monsters equipped on your deck at a time. So you got your 3 spells here. This is a Sacrier, I would imagine. So you got your 3 spells. They've got 5 monsters equipped up here. You can have 2 monsters out in a fight at any given time. If one of them dies, you can then summon another monster to go out there and take its place. But if all your monsters die, you die. If you die, then you die. I know it sounds funny, but again, it works like a sidekick. These are not summons, although you would die even if they were summons. But it's not like you can continue to use the monsters in a fight if your character dies. You have to stay alive, and you can't lose all your monsters, because if you lose them all, you now can do no attacking. You would literally run around forever and never end that fight if that was the case. So they just kill you off because they're nice like that. So this is your deck you can swap out. And I believe they said you can even set up custom sets. So you could have a few different setups of monsters where you can just select one interface and boom, it'll switch all 6 of them for you. But if you have monsters that you want to trade, exchange, sell, maybe you want to go to that NPC and try to get some tokens for it, you can click this little arrow here and it'll take whatever monster it is, put it back in the scroll form. Now, the other interface is basically like your Pokedex. This is going to be how you track all the monsters that you have found, discovered. I noticed down here in the bottom left this success, which I think in the English version this would be achievements. Now, in the previous Temporis with the sidekicks, every sidekick had an achievement that you could try to do. In fact, 2, I believe. And I think they were nothing more than go do X number of fights with that sidekick to unlock that achievement. It's probably going to be the same here. So every monster that you get, you can probably go do 5 fights to get the first achievement, 10 fights to get the second one. I don't really know, but that's probably what this is. You'll also see in the bottom left here, it says zone, and this is going to be a way to where you can remember where you found that particular monster. So maybe you need to go back and try to get another one. Maybe you want to tell a friend where you found that monster. This is what that is going to be. You can also see its rarity level right here. And if you look at this, you'll also notice that the evolved form of the monster is right next to the unevolved form. So if you find yourself skipping a lot of numbers and the ones that you found, it means you're probably skipping over the evolved form. So this is probably a good time to talk about the new profession on how to evolve your monsters. That was a pretty good segue. The process of evolving your monsters is called Mega Monsteration. And basically you're taking the smaller version of it and you're evolving it into the larger version of that monster. Every monster has 2 forms. Now I realize that there are 151 monsters, others, which means either one has a third evolution or there's a monster out there that does not have an evolution at all. I'm sure Ankama is up to something with that. But the new profession that will be listed on your character is bestiology. They did say that the XP that you will get for trying to level this profession will be very generous and it should be very easy to level. Now, I don't have any slide that shows the actual process needed to evolve them, but if I had to guess, I would say that it's probably a combination of taking the spell version of the monster you want, maybe a few of those. Maybe you have to have 3 or 4 versions of the little turtle along with maybe a particular bait to then evolve it into its evolved form. So what I would recommend as early as possible, try to go up to that monster center and go look at that NPC to see what things you can buy with those OSA tokens. I would bet that there are going to be some things that you need to buy from him that will be part of the evolving process, and you'll want to know that sooner than later. But when you go up into the monster center, you will find a door that you can go through that will take you over to the bestiology workshop. This is where you're going to go to try to evolve the form of your monsters, and I do see a little crusher over there. I don't know, maybe you can crush some monsters. If you're thinking about doing that, you're a jerk. Just saying, you're a jerk. Hopefully there's no achievement for it. Poor Bow Meows. Anyways, this is where you will come to do that, and there might even be an NPC in here that you can interact with. I think they typically have an NPC in the workshops of the Temporis, so I would check that out as well. I'll just point out real quick that the Arc monsters and Wanted monsters are going to go through the same process as previous ones, where you get the Search Okins and the Arch Okins, and you go fight up there to try to capture those. All right, one last thing to talk about here with the monsters is with this slide here, you're kind of seeing how everything is supposed to look when you're actually in the game. You've got your character here, you got your monsters out here, your spells will be down here just like normal, and off here to the left is actually a new interface that they're testing on Temporis that, again, they're thinking about bringing over to the main Dofus servers. On the regular servers, when you have your summons out there, you can't see your summon spells until it's your summon's turn, and you are very fast-paced trying to figure out, okay, what does it need to do? Now, once you know the summons, it's not a big deal. Well, we have 151 new sidekick type monsters that we're going to be learning in a very short amount of time, and trying to memorize all those is going to get nuts. So the nice thing is with these displayed over here, you will be able to look at your spell when it's not your turn to try to figure out what your game plan is going to be with your characters out there. Super handy interface, and I'm looking forward to hearing more on this. Hopefully they can bring this over to the regular servers. I think that'll be a nice touch. All right, getting to play Dofus in a whole new fashion for a few weeks is a fantastic fun thing to do, but getting to bring back some sweet loot to then show off on the regular servers afterwards is what makes this a lot of fun. So I'm not going to go into this too much. You've probably already seen it a lot, but basically there are 6 hats that you can earn here. There is one mystery hat that has not been revealed. I assume this is probably also a mystery emote. We have 3 emotes that'll be available, and then I think this is a mystery emote. This is your pet, which will progress as you move through the battle pass. Starts out as just a pet, then it becomes a rideable pet's mount. Speaking of pets mounts, this is also on the battle pass. This is that little motorbike I was talking about where your little character is going to ride in the back here. Now, they did say that during Temporis, you will actually move faster with this than any regular mount or pet's mount. Now, once this goes back to the Dofus server with you, it'll then go the normal speed. So I don't know how much of a speed difference it is. I'm hoping it'll be substantial enough that you can see it and feel it. This is the outfit that you can earn. Now, I did say this was probably the most beginner-friendly Temporis yet, and it has to do with these 2 things here and some changes that they've made. If this is your first Temporis and you're not aware, as you play Temporis, you will be accumulating basically XP into a bottle. You'll see your battle pass will be all laid out there, and if I can find a screenshot from a previous Temporis, I'll put it on the screen here. But there'll be a battle pass, and in the top right corner, the further you make it on that battle pass, the more XP gets accumulated in that potion bottle. Then when you go back to the regular server, that XP potion bottle goes back with you, and you can then dump it onto either your character that you have there, or you can start a brand new character and use it there. Well, if you're only level 30, and while you're over here on Temporis, you managed to get to level 150, going back over there to your level 30 character may be like, man, I just wasted a bunch of time on a server that I lost all that XP for. Well, that's what the XP potion is for. It's allow you to take the XP that you invested over there and then bring it back with you for whatever character you want to play on over there. But it gets a little better this year. Typically, you had to wait until Temporis was completely over, and even maybe a week or 2 after that before you got everything that you earned over there on your main account. Now they have an NPC though that you will be able to go talk to then collect that right away. So Temporis goes, I think, for about 8 weeks. Maybe you go 3 weeks into it and you're like, okay, this is too much. I'm done. I'm ready to go back. Well, you can go up to this NPC and collect your rewards and have them immediately taken over to your main account, which is awesome. But it gets a little better. In that previous example where I said your character over there is level 30, and maybe you bring a potion over that can jump you from level 30 to 140. Well, now you have level 30 gear on a level 140 character, and you're like, okay, this is jacked up. Now they actually have a set that will go back with you that will give your character stats equivalent to about where your level is at. So if you go over there with an XP potion that's going to take you to level 140, your outfit here, which is a fantastic outfit made out of cardboard. I mean, can we just get an awesome shout out real fast on how amazing that is and the fact that they made it out of cardboard? That is so cool. But if you put this set on, it will give you the stats for your character for a decent level 140 character. Now, you do have to wear all the pieces. You can't put on like 4 of these pieces and then go buy 4 pieces to fill in the gaps. You'll have to have all 8 pieces on in order to get the bonus. So when you go back, you immediately want to probably start working towards whatever your next set is going to be and make sure you buy all new pieces, because none of these things will give you your bonus once you start taking the pieces off, if I'm understanding that correctly. So if you are returning to Dofus, been gone a long time, and you gave all your stuff away and you're like, well, I want to play Temporis, but I'll be done after that because I don't have anything over there. Well, now you'll have something over there if you want. I mean, granted, you'll still be broke because you ain't got no commas. You'll have to work on that, but you'll actually be able to play the game over there if you wanted to do that. So I thought that was fantastic. I hope some people really take advantage of this. In addition to the Temporis rewards you will be earning on that battle pass, there are going to be some Twitch drop rewards that you can earn as well. Whether you are a Twitch streamer or you will just be watching Twitch streamers, both will earn you time and credit towards the Twitch drops that will be these 3 boxes here. Now, in those boxes, you have a chance to earn the Twitch shield that you see there. You can also get this Twitch version of the motorbike, which is fantastic, but you will also have a chance to earn this outfit here. This is a new Twitch outfit they have, and they have both an ear version and just a headset piece version. I think this is fantastic. I would love to earn this. I'm a YouTube channel, but I would totally be all over Twitch to try to get this. I did have several people reach out to me and ask, is this a Twitch drop? Do all I gotta do is watch or play Twitch streams to earn this? Is it guaranteed, basically, kind of like those boxes were? And if I'm understanding correctly, it is just a random chance drop, which I know, I'm kind of bummed about that too. If you are going to be playing Dofus, you might as well turn on a Twitch stream, get a Dofus channel on there, and have it running off to the side, even if you're completely ignoring it. Just make sure that your account is linked with Ankama. If you come over here to the Dofus website and go to their forums, scroll down and you'll find this tutorial for Twitch drops, and this will walk you through the process of how to get your account linked here. But speaking of cool ways to win fun cosmetic stuff, I'm gonna tell you about my giveaway. Again, admit it, that was a pretty awesome segue. I put this on my IOP and I was blown away with how good it looks. It looks almost like some Lord of the Rings wizard, and it looks amazing. And there's also a fantastic emote. I will play that for you here now. I mean, if it's one thing I appreciate about Ankama, they are not afraid to put a fart joke in their game. So there are 2 ways to enter for a chance to win. One is going to be to leave a comment in this video, and all you have to do is let me know which class you're thinking about starting with on your Temporis adventure. Now, if you're not planning on playing on this Temporis, don't worry, you can enter in as well. All you gotta do is post, wow, Benjamight's new webcam looks amazing. And I'll appreciate it because it'll make me smile in HD. The second way to enter is going to be the exact same way. You just go over to my Twitter feed, look for this image, and leave a comment on this posting with the same thing. You just got to let me know which class you're thinking about posting there, or you can comment any random thing. I'll let you in there, even if it's not about my webcam. That's okay. And then in 1 week, on June 23rd, I will draw a winner from the Twitch feed, and I will draw a winner from the YouTube feed, and I will reach out to you directly. Now, one thing I will point out on the Twitter posting, if you could at least follow me, that would be helpful, because then it'll allow me to send you a direct message. Makes it so much easier. Temporis is set to launch on June 29th, and I am very excited. excited. I hope you are too. I plan to do a lot of live streaming during that time, so if you're not following me on my Twitch account, I will leave a link of that in the description below. For those of you on YouTube who prefer to watch it over here, I will do my best to try to get those uploaded regularly, typically long videos, so they may be spaced out a little bit, but I'll try to get them over here for you as well. Thank you all so much for your support. I really appreciate it. You guys are the best, and thank you Ankama also for giving me the slides to use for this video, as well as a few codes to give away. I really appreciate it. Continue to be safe out there, everybody, and I will see you on the next one.